The brewmaster is essentially the chef of the brewery. So I'm responsible for everything that has to do with the beer, from the concept, the original concept of the beer, to the all the raw materials, all of the recipes, all of the procedures, everything that has to do with having the beer turn out the way that it's supposed to. And my job essentially ends when your glass is empty and you hopefully order another one. So it really is absolutely everything, and designing the brewery, everything having to do with with equipment, etc. So you can think of it as being similar to the chef, who will conceive everything that has to do with the food, but also is looking at things like does the equipment in the kitchen run properly? How is the kitchen designed? Running the staff in the kitchen. All those sorts of things are basically what the brewmaster does. Well, when you look to build a brewery, if you're building something from the ground up, it's different than if you're building inside of an existing building, like it is for building a kitchen. You have to have conditions that can be made sanitary. You have to have, obviously, the right amount of electricity and water and everything else. And you have to have enough space for people to work in. Space obviously to put, your tankage, your equipment, etc. And if you expect to be successful, you also have to have some space to expand, which makes it different than a kitchen, because usually when someone goes to start a restaurant, they don't say, well, suppose we do really well, we'll need a bigger kitchen and we'll have to add more seats. Normally you're within a confined space, you have a kitchen that can serve, say, these 200 seats, and that's what you have. A brewery tends to be a bit different. Most people will prefer a space where they can expand a bit. Well, a good brewer has the idea in their head of everything about the beer before they start brewing it. You can see it, smell it, taste it, everything before you get started. It's not supposed to be an experiment. It's supposed to come in the other direction, where you have a concept, an idea, you've been inspired by these several things, you want to combine this with that, whatever it is, and then you are figuring out, almost backwards engineering, okay, how do I achieve this concept that I have? And that, in a way, is the art, because there is a blend of art and science in brewing. Or I should say in craft brewing, versus industrial brewing is almost all science. There is no art. However, if you're doing craft brewing, which is brewing traditional beer for flavor, that's a whole different thing. So, I have a concept first of what the beer is going to be, and then I work backwards to see, okay, what do I need to create this? What yeast strains, what malts, what hop varieties, what temperatures at different parts of the process. And the thing about brewing is that there is absolutely nothing about it that doesn't count. Every single last thing matters. If you do the mash at 155 degrees, you will get a different beer than if you do it at 158 degrees. So it's all the little minutia put together into one thing. There certainly are ways to do test brewing. We don't do it. I've been brewing professionally for 18 years now, and if I don't have a pretty good idea of how it's going to turn out by now, it's probably time to pack the bags and go home. I'm not a big believer in test brewing, because it's just not something that I think you can get some basic ideas of things. But most people who are doing test brews of things, really, they don't get out so much, so to speak. They don't do as many different types of beer as we do. So I think that we have a wide range of experience about how to produce different things. Now, when you're doing something which is completely different than you've ever done before, for example, we recently started doing beers which are re-fermented in the bottle. We did run test brews, and really what we were testing was not really the beer itself, because we knew how the beer would turn out. It was the bottle re-fermentation part, which basically nobody else in the country is doing the way that we do it. And there really isn't any place to read about how to do it or whatever else. So that was something where we felt like we needed to do test brewing. And, in the last, I can't remember how many years, it was pretty much the only time.